Well, hey there, everyone, and welcome. This is EnergieGal Holistic Wellness, and I am Lisa. I am a life guide, an energy healer, as well as an author of the 30-day journal series called Wildflowers On The Path, available on my site. So today we have a very, very simple teaching. As a matter of fact, the word that came through literally has two words with it. And I have to be honest with you, I have argued back and forth with God, Spirit, Creator, that voice that speaks within me, and have said, can we get something a little more fancy, a little more complicated, a little less, well, duh, like everybody knows that. And the answer was a solid heck no. So the word for today is be still. Be still. And it's funny because as I'm speaking this, it's also still be. Still be. You know, I got a word back in the end of 2019 when I closed an office that I'd had for almost 30 years. And the word was be still. You're going to be going through a season of be still. And sure enough, over the past few years, I can't say that I've done it successfully. It's been quite a process. And for me as an introvert, I thought that being still would be something that was very easy for me. But I have found that there's a difference between understanding be still and embodying stillness and just a beingness. And it wasn't until probably the beginning of this year, 2023, where it's almost like I feel like all the fight went out of me. And when I mean fight, I mean all of the trying, all of the trying to figure out, all of the making plans, all of the trying to figure things out and make sense of things and research things and read more about things. And I finally got to the point where I threw my hands up in the air and I said, I don't know what more to read. I don't know what more to try to understand. And I feel like God said, well, finally, yay, now you can be still. Because the imperative has always been be still, still, be. Those two words, a stillness and a beingness. And I think that as I have been steeping and working on embodying this truth of the power of embodying being still, of stillness, of beingness, from that place, all these other teachings have started to make sense to me. The idea of detachment or unattachment, or not being attached to the outcome. The idea of unconditional love with all of its difficulties, because unconditional love can mean that you love somebody and it hurts, but you still love them. Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. The idea of forgiveness, the idea of surrender, from this place of beingness, stillness, be still and know. I'm understanding that that phrase wasn't know here. It was be still and embody the truth. Not just know it, but embody what it means to actually be still. Still be. It will be something that is a forever thing. It's not, well, for a season I was still. No, it's forever. It is where you live your life from. You're not trying to get to stillness or get to beingness. When you finally get through all of the weeds and the bramble and the bushes and the thorns and the thickets of trying to learn, trying to understand better, reading yet another book, listening to yet another podcast, when you finally get to the end of all of that, You finally get to the end of that and you throw your hands up in the air and say, I surrender. I don't know what else to do. Well, then that's when, I was going to say the living begins, but that's when knowledge is then able to come down and become part of your countenance. And even, not even that so much as it's when that part of you that's always been stillness, that part of you that's always been beingness, finally, and I don't want to say wakes up, but finally is able to be tapped into. It was there all along. It was just once I closed all of these mental tabs, once I'd gotten to the end of each of these threads and found myself no closer to peace and harmony and joy and healing, I could finally say, well, it wasn't that, it wasn't this, it wasn't that, what is it? And I finally got to the point where I was like, well, maybe it's just sitting here. Stillness, being, allowing. So I'm not saying it's simple at all. I think it's one of the most amazing, complicated yet simple. It's like relationships. Relationships are convoluted and amazing, and yet very straight line and simple. It's both. It's this paradox, you know? Being still is our most natural self, and yet we have so far forgotten our natural self, our most authentic self, our true self. We have so forgotten it that getting back to that can be a bit of a trip, can be a little bit of a journey. So today, all I want to do is I got out the root and I got out the crown, because what I sensed God saying, Spirit saying, Creator, Divine Intelligence said, be rooted and established in love, which means down at the root chakra, like you are being held by the earth, like you are having both feet, like they are roots digging deep into the earth. But at the same time, your crown is open to the heavenlies. Well, not that the heavenlies are up there, the heavenlies are everywhere, but this idea of the energies running through the body and rooting and establishing us in that love that's here, in through all of the chakras and here. It's this kind of movement that makes being still. I don't know which comes first, the chicken or the egg. You sit here, you envision, you listen, you become still, and then you remember that you've always been still. I speak weirdly today. So remember, on your sit bones, okay? Spine erect, shoulders down from the ears. Envision each of your chakras, energy centers in the body all along the spine, and you want there to be space between them for the energy, the Shakti, to flow, okay? You can't do this wrong. You can't do it right. Just allow and enjoy. And if you want, I'm sensing, hands can either be like this, or if you'd like, they can be like this next to your heart space, with your thumbs tucked into that breastbone, okay? That may help. Or you might be someone who's like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. As a matter of fact, I hear Spirit saying, yeah, this is good. You may just want to open up your chest, put your hands out like this, opened like this, and be like, I surrender. I surrender this trying. I surrender this figuring it out. I surrender not moving forward until all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. I surrender reading about how everybody else does it, but never actually sitting down and doing it myself. I surrender writing it on my list of things to do, but never quite getting there. I surrender all of that, and I allow myself to come into this moment for a few seconds to ground and to open. Enjoy. When we look into our own eyes and into the eyes of the people around us. Be still. If there's something that spoke to you, if you would share that, I'd appreciate it, just to get a conversation going. I'd love to know how the idea of being still has been speaking to you in your life. And in the meantime, thank you. Thank you for spending your time with me here. I appreciate it a lot. Namaste. I honor you, and I'll see you again soon.